This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made.
Good morning and welcome to All Saints by the Seas Digital Children's Chapel. I'm Reverend Amy, and while I miss being able to be with you all in person, I'm so glad that we can be together in this digital format. If you are able, I ask you to find a candle in your house and have a grown-up who's with you help you light the candle as we get started with Children's Chapel. Each week we light the candle as a reminder that God's light is shining in our world, in the dark places, and there's places where we're afraid, and there's places where we're sad, and there's places where there's joy and happiness and fun and love. God's light is shining everywhere, and this light is a symbol of God's light. So let's go ahead and light our candle with the grown-ups' help. And now it's time to say our prayers. So why don't you center your hands in front of your heart to help us center ourselves for our prayer. And we'll take in 3 deep breaths, in through our nose and out through our mouth. I like to close my eyes when I do it. So if you'd like to do that, you can as well. Let's take a deep breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. 1, 2, 3. And now repeat after me. God be in my head and in my thinking. God be in my eyes and in my seeing. God be in my ears and in my hearing. God be in my mouth and in my speaking. God be in my heart and in my loving. Amen. And now we're going to hear the story for today. Our story for today is Who Counts 2 Sons? And this is the brother story to our stories that we've heard before about the 10 coins and the 100 sheep. 2 sons. A father had 2 sons. Easier to count than 10, much easier to count than 100. 1, 2. One day, the younger son wanted half his father's money. It would be his eventually, but he could not wait. He was restless and he wanted to travel. So the father divided his wealth in half and gave half to his younger son and half to his older son. The younger son went to a foreign land. There he had a great time doing whatever he wanted. But before long, he had spent all his money and had none left, not even to pay for food. There was no one to share even a crumb of bread with him, and there was little food in the land. The son went to work for a farmer to try to earn enough to buy something to eat. The farmer told him to go and feed the pigs. Even the pods that the pigs ate looked good to the hungry son. Finally, the son was so hungry and tired that he decided to return to his father. But he wasn't sure what to say. How could he tell his father that he had spent all the money? His good pants were torn, his shirt was stained, his fancy shoes had holes. He thought, I will tell my father that I made a big mistake. I will say that I am sorry. I will offer to work hard to earn money. The young son returned home. His hair was uncombed. His face was dirty. His hands were covered in blisters. My goodness, he looks a mess. His father ran to greet him. He was so happy to see him that he did not care about anything else. Instead of making his son earn money for clothes and food, he gave him a new coat, new shoes, even a new ring. Then he invited everyone to his home to celebrate. The older son was still working in the field when he heard the happy sounds of singing and laughter and smelled sweet spices coming from his home. He wondered what was happening. He stopped one of the neighbors who was heading to his house and asked, "What's going on?" The neighbor was surprised by the question. "Don't you know that your father is making a big party for your brother to mark his return?" The older brother did not know. When the father counted everyone who had come to the party, he realized that one person was missing. The person was his older son. He had forgotten to invite him. He ran out of his house to find his son. When the older son saw his father coming toward him, he turned away. He was sad and angry that no one had come to find him. His father spoke softly. "Your brother has come home. I invited all our friends to celebrate with us. Now you must come and be glad with us." He tried to hug his son, but his son folded his arms across his chest. The older son finally said to his father, "I have been with you all these years and my brother has been away. I did not waste your money. I did everything you wanted me to do. I never left you, but my brother did. And then you make a big party for him? You never had one for me. You didn't even invite me to his." The father thought, "I have 2 sons. 1, 2. I paid attention to the younger son, but I discounted my older son. I didn't realize that he felt lost." The father took his older son's hands in his own. "Please come to join the party. I love you. All I have is yours. Come and be with me and with your brother. I have 2 sons." He counted 1, and he pointed to the house where his younger son was celebrating. He counted 2, and he put his arm around his older son. "Without you," he said, "something is missing. Without you, with you, our family is complete." "Without you," he said, "something is missing. With you, our family is complete." I wonder what your favorite part of this story is. Maybe you can share that with the person with whom you're praying today. Well, God is just like this father who celebrates when we return and who counts each one of us as so important to make God's family complete. We are all part of God's big family, and each one of us is precious to God. And since God is so good to us, how about we sing a thank you song to God and have Mr. Robert lead us in God is So Good.
The story tells us about how good God is. Let's sing about that together. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me. God is so good. God is so good. God is so good. He's so good to me.
That was a wonderful story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm Chaplain Allison, and I'm really glad that you're worshiping with us today. I'm here in my backyard with my chickens and my dog Waffles. So we're going to get ready to have our closing prayer. So let's put our hands in prayer position and have 3 deep breaths in and out to help us get settled in prayer position. That's 1. So let's go another deep breath in and out and in. Help me, Lord, to love you more than I've ever loved before. In my work and in my play. God be with me through the day. Amen. And now it's time to change the light. Remember, we light the candle to represent God's light here with us. And when we blow the candle out, it doesn't mean that God's light and God's love go away. It means that it goes everywhere, and it's inside of us also. So let's watch the light as it goes. There it goes. It's moving everywhere. So, thank you for worshiping with all of us here today. And now let's sing a song.
The candle reminds us that God's light is always within us, and we can let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine.